Walking down the street, she sees him. Eyes are filled with and laughter. Her heart is aching for him. She can't do nothing but just feel it. Walking down the street, she sees him. Eyes are filled with joy and laughter. Her heart is aching for him. She can't do nothing but just feel it. Tell me why, tell me how she's fallen in love with the married man. Tell me why, tell me how she's fallen in love with the married man. It's the weakness of a human heart. It's the weakness of a human heart. Oh, day and week, touched his soul, crying for and she could never have. Day and night she weep, day and just souls, crying for a man she could never have. Say kuzina ya moyo na wamai Zunari na ewe misotiche. It's the weakness of a human heart. 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 Oh Lord, wipe away her tears, brush away her sorrows. Oh Lord, wipe away her tears, brush away her sorrows. It's the weakness of a human heart. It's the weakness of a human heart.
Welcome from Bangkok, Thailand to 30 minutes promoting unity and diversity. Today is nothing else I can say about our beautiful guest who has an amazing power, not only on her voice, but on her instrument and on her philosophy of life. Her name is Carmen Nelly, and she comes from Zimbabwe, Bulawayo specifically. She is based at the moment in Malawi. She is an educator. She is an inspirational coach because she also collaborates with different artists, not only at the musical level, but at the holistic level. And she is here today with us to share her life, her journey, and what 2022 is preparing for her and for the people she loves and the people around her. Carmen, thank you so much. Welcome. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Carmen, for accepting the invitation. And the first question is, who is Carmen Nelly?
Who is Carmen Nelly? Carmen Nelly is a young lady from Zimbabwe, proudly Zimbabwean, proudly Black, born and bred in the city of Kings, Bulawayo. I come from a family of musicians. Music has been ingrown, it's in the DNA, and
Carmen, tell us that your family has been in music business forever, so it's in your ADN, right?
It's in my DNA, yes. Well, I seem to be the only one that got into the music business itself, but they just sing for, for the love of it and because they can and they enjoy doing that. So I don't know if you got the part where I also mentioned I did my first degree at the Midland State University in Gweru, music and musicology. And I have been very privileged to work with a number of very prominent musicians in Zimbabwe. I have toured a few countries in Europe and Southern Africa. And I am a mom. I have a little girl, she's 9.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
Yes, and thank you. And I have my first debut album, which was released 2017, which is called I Call to You. And it's available on all online stores. And currently working on my second album. I am a teacher. I have been teaching as well in international schools, 3 international schools so far. I think for a total number of 13, 14 years.
A long time already, Carmen. So
yes, I started when I was 20.
Yes, this is what I was going to tell you. You started when you were in primary school, practically. Carmen, talk to me about the mbira instrument, that it's actually an instrument that in the early time was not always played by women.
That's very true. It was only the men that would play the mbira, and women would just clap, dance, and sing. However, we have our very own Ambuya Stella Chiweshe, who kind of barrier. And we are so pleased that now, as from the time she broke that barrier and people started to see her play, and other women also, enjoyed this and took charge and took over, and we are all able to enjoy the instrument and play.
Yeah, Stella has been a source of inspiration for a lot of women and musicians, male musicians, and all type of musicians around the world. And she's still very active and very much committed and connected with the tradition and also with Zimbabwean music. Carmen, talk to me about lyrics and music, because the first song you gave to us, it was talking about women empowerment and also talking about decisions of humankind. There's a woman who is going out with a married man. What's the story there?
Okay, if I got you correctly, you froze a little bit. You want to know about the lyrics of the song that I sang, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, this is an Nemamsasa traditional mode. It's a Nemamsasa mode. It's the very first mode I learned on mbira when I was in college. And this song is the very first song I feel was a real song I composed.
Oh, wow.
I feel, because, when I shared it with my friends, they were like, oh, wow, that's very powerful. I was like, oh, so I can do this. So it's just about, when I write songs about things that touch me, can touch me through someone's story or my personal story, mostly. So if I see something happening and it touches me, sometimes I am moved to put it in song. So I had seen, exactly as the song says, a young lady who had fallen in love with somebody who was with a man who was married. And I think she fell in deep and, things didn't work out as she had expected. And of course she was hurt. And I decided to I guess I decided, but I felt the urge to write about it and to sing. And it's something that happens, I think, it's been happening and it keeps happening, and people go through these things.
You are very grounded and you really understand situations from a very powerful place of yourself. Why is that, Carmen? Why? What happens?
I don't know how to answer that. maybe it has to do with my character as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I feel that I am very good at listening. And it's not just listening when somebody speaks, but I tend to listen through actions or through an atmosphere. When something feels, I listen a certain way, and I sort of somehow start to discern and a little bit deeper than I see, than I hear, than I feel. And then I get something out of it, you know, or then I receive something, or then I'm given. Sometimes I feel like, most of the times, in fact, I feel like I am given something, because sometimes I literally hear the sounds, I hear the words coming, you know, and I just deliver them as I am given.
Yeah, you are very much Sangoma. So you are.
I don't know about Sangoma, but
I think it is, because you have the capacity to heal through your voice and your music. And I think a Sangoma is actually a woman like you and many other women in the world, you know, who has understood the power of music, but not music as an extravaganza or music as an element that is superficial. It goes deeper. And this is the reason what I was asking you, where is this power coming from, you know?
If we're speaking of the power, because I'm Christian, I think I have a connection, you know, I feel and understand, you know, what God has put in me. And mostly when I am composing music, I find myself tapping into that which God has given me. And if I sing, if I hear something, as I was trying to explain, if I hear something and it touches me in a certain way, then I know that I'm downloading it from Him.
Exactly.
I'm downloading it from Him. And so when I do that, I download from Him, and I normally give it as is. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, especially because I download it as is and I feel as is. Sometimes it's irregular. And it's not as regular as expected. So it defines the music, what do I say, the rules. Because sometimes emotions, I don't think that, well, I think all the time actually emotions are not regular. They, you know, the pattern is not, you know, the pattern that we see, that you can say this is a pattern. It's sometimes very irregular, because you have these highs, these lows, these mediums, these things. And so I feel that power comes from God. I feel that that's where I download from.
And this is when we're talking about the spiritual power. So we're not talking about being Christian, or we're not talking about the Sangomas from the point of view of a tradition. We're talking about life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You're talking about life, it means to be in a different frequencies. You know,
of course.
Yeah. That sometimes some people has the capacity to put attention to them. And some other people think and push very hard, you know, to keep things in a position that is very rigid and not necessarily is connecting. Let's talk about connectivity. You're in the belly. Zimbabwe is a society with other different tribes like the Shonas, the Tongas, just to mention a few. Let's talk about the cultural diversity and how that has influenced your life.
We have such diverse cultures, and very beautiful, very, very beautiful in terms of, you know, the traditions, in terms of the music, in terms of the styles. And I was born and bred in Bulawayo. So my mother tongue, yes, is Isindebele, and probably my traditions rooted in the Isindebele. But however, I also mingled a lot with the Shona. So I am Shona by birth, even though it's not my first language. My father is Shona, is the Mkare. I'm Karanga from Mashingo. But I was bred, yes, but I was born and bred in Bulawayo. So my first language, my traditions are more of the Ndebele side. But having learned that and having mixed with musicians and with traditions of Ndebele and Shona, I connect so well. So you'll find that when I sing in English, in Shona, and in Ndebele. So I find myself expressing that. But what is important is the traditions have they have somewhere where they come together. No? Yes, they're different only, but they're somewhere where they come together. And music is so powerful because it's so easy to bring those together through music. So you'll find that we have that traditional base, whether it's Shona or it's Ndebele, and then we have the language or the languages that then come to it. And for me, that's how I connect it together.
Yeah, it's an overlap of traditions that actually blend very well. I have the opportunity to meet Mr. Edwas Mujuru during the time I was in the musicologist trust in Harare, and also Buzi Kube. And for me, that explains specifically what you're telling me, that it's not about where you're being educated. It's something greater than that, Sure. And this is when we celebrate the tradition, and when you become an open-minded and like a God-giver element, there is no restrictions. Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about artists that I mentioned to you. Do you have the opportunity to have some influences from their side?
Mr. Yes, from listening, yes. But however, I have worked and still do work sometimes with Buzi Ngube. We've done some tours together in Norway.
Yes.
So in fact, when we talk of Buzi Ngube, she is the very first artist, the very first one to give me an opportunity in Harare. When I moved to Harare, it was because of her. When I met other musicians that I then later worked with, it was because she introduced me to them. And these are the likes of the late Adam Chiso.
Yes, of course I know Adam Chiso very well.
Yes, I worked with him. And I worked with the late
Andy Brown.
Yeah, you with me?
Yes, so you were talking about Andy Brown.
Yes, so I worked, as I was saying, I worked with Andy Brown as well. I worked with Willem Tite. I'm not sure if you know Willem Tite. And so most of these big artists that I've worked with, it was through, I knew them through Buzi Ngube. And so definitely, and you can see that they all have their, different styles.
Very different.
Yeah, very different. And wow, there is so much to learn from them, most definitely. And I've been so blessed because if I start naming all the people I work with, too blessed, and so much information, so much observation, so much, listening and taking part as well. I think it's the biggest thing when you're able to take part in that music and you feel what they feel and you share those stage moments, performance moments with them. Surely,
Yeah, I've been following your career for a couple of years, and I'm very impressed, and especially because you're a very loyal and humble artist to your tradition, in Carmen. And I think that is what is allowing you to be stronger and to be consistent, because you're a very hardworking artist. And let's talk about discipline, and let's talk about how your music goes beyond the aesthetics. It's not only about performing and looking beautiful and sounding regular. You are very demanding with your work. Let's talk about that.
I think that's a very important question. And when it comes to me personally, I want to tell a story. And I want to be listened to. Because I am telling, that's me. I'm a storyteller through my songs, through my voice. You know, sometimes I say, I wonder when people say, oh, she's got an awesome voice and I'm like, maybe not quite awesome, but the fact that I tap into the emotions. I tell my story. I do my best to make sure I tell a story because number one, that's who I am. Number two, I am not only telling a story to people who understand my language. So if I don't tap into the emotions, then how will the person that's not actually hearing the language connect? So it's very important for me to get into, how do they say it, the actors? You get into character. I get into the character of the song. I get into the character of the music so that I can connect with more than just the person that hears and understands the words, but I connect also with the person probably that also has a disability of not hearing through the, what do you call them? The waves of,
yeah, the subtle sounds. Yeah.
Yes. So that's what that's what I believe. That's just who I am. I want to connect through telling the story, get character. So when I step on stage, I must be in character.
And you also have the capacity to deal with the color of your voice. You do manage to do transitions from very low to high intermediate sounds, you know, that actually are doing a reflection of an emotion. That is not an easy task, you know. How do you feel at the moment you work that elements of, because that's also technique. Let's talk about your technique, how it took place. Did it at school? Was something that came in by intuition? Is something that you keep exploring and working on?
I think that to answer that, when I was in high school, I joined the drama club. And when we did the drama club, I had one guy, one of our mentors and trainers, who couldn't sing. He was a dancer. It was more dancing and acting, but he never sang. But he took a particular interest in me. And we would sit and meditate. And in the middle of that quietness, he would give me a scenario, any scenario. And I had to learn to react there and then. And so acting, that skill helped me develop that technique when I sing, because I have to be able to produce the right sound, even when you're speaking, depending what context, what situation has just happened. I have to be able to, give out the right sound, the right words, the right emotion. Remember, it's probably not happening right now, but it's something that's in my mind. So it's something I learned it from acting. I learned it from drama. And he taught me to, transfer that skill into my singing. So sometimes I would sit there and sing if it's an emotional song, if it's a happy song, and he will say, no, I'm not feeling it.
That's a very advanced concept because it's very much related to musical theater. At the moment that you connect movement, like say, I'm doing this and then some sound has to come out of that action that is not necessarily taught many places. And I think you've been blessed, Carmen.
So much.
Yes. So by
so
God,
much.
knowing that you have this God-given talent, that it goes farther than your person. Let's talk about your role as an educator and as a mentor and a role model to the new generation.
I'll tell you something, then I never ever thought I would be a teacher in my life. I never wanted to hear the word teacher at all. how it all started is I had to pay bills. And my first year, I just thought, you know, I suck at teaching. Little did I know that those that were watching me and seeing me were seeing differently until I got appraisal. You know, we do appraisals every end of the year.
And performance appraisal, yeah.
Yes. So my principal then at Harare International School, her name is Miss Carrie Bozeman. She wrote some stuff that shocked me. And I was like, did you copy and paste the name and just put whatever you wrote? It doesn't sound like me. And she said, oh, yes. And by then I was a teaching assistant. And so she gave me an opportunity to be a teacher/teaching assistant. And that's when I started to believe in myself as a teacher. And in that journey, I kept seeing students excelling, enjoying music, and they say so many words. They give me gifts, they give me cards. And so I'm like, oh, wow. So I began to enjoy it because I could see that the students themselves are loving it and they love to have me as their teacher. And so I'm overjoyed. I always love to share music with the young ones. I literally become a part of them. You know, I don't see myself as a teacher. I jump with them. I, you know, do this. And so they feel like, you know, we're together. She's our teacher, but, you know.
And that's also charisma. You know, I think you have the charisma. You, again, have the God-given talent. But as everything in life is a process. And I think you were dedicating so much attention to the technique, to some elements that have to do with the dynamics, that you didn't realize anything about your inner person, you know, and what you were projecting to others. I know that you have been working also with some yoga teachers and some retreats. How do this holistic environment is teaching you some more about yourself?
So that yoga thing was like, I was very skeptical when when it was brought to me. So it was, you know, celebrating mental, I don't know, do we call it
mental health issues? Yeah.
Mental health issues. And so a friend of mine, his name is in Malawi, said, oh, we're doing this 1 week retreat and for mental health. Would you like to perform? Blah, blah, blah. I said, oh yeah, for sure. Why not? And then he came and with another proposal and said, well, we would like to do mbira and yoga. I was like, yoga. And I've done yoga before, and I'm thinking of the music that is normally played. People are doing yoga, and I'm thinking of the mbira sound. I was like, for a fact that yes, mbira is a beautiful sound. And I know for a fact that traditionally, we use mbira to heal. We use mbira for different things. Music in general is, you know, for healing. I wasn't very confident, but I sent some. Do you want me to go back somewhere?
Yes. No, it's okay. I was just listening very attentively.
Okay. So I was not very confident even on the day. Then people started coming in and I started playing, and the yoga teacher was like, it's beautiful. And then I just said to myself, you know what? Let me play, enjoy it myself. And when I do enjoy it myself, as I play, those emotions are just going to feel the atmosphere and it's going to be fine. So that was a first for me. And it was very scary. But it turned out to be very good because I heard people say it was so relaxing. It was a beautiful sound and, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Carmen, so I think that every day, because you, again, I'm not going to stop repeating that you have a God-given talent. And also you have the right attitude to be open, you know, to any kind of proposals that will continue to come into your life. Because having that talent is not for you. It's yours, like you say, and you have learned how to enjoy it for yourself, because sometimes you were too much concentrated in giving it out. So now that you are doing it inside, the light is coming. And that's a completely different dimension, you know what I mean? Because now you're really understanding of the power of your instrument to heal you. And at the moment that you start healing yourself, you have the right feedback for the people to tell them,
Correct.
I had this situation, I overcome it with my instrument, with my voice. Let's enjoy it together. Let's do it together in order to be stronger. Let's talk about those in personal process that you have gone through, that you have managed to overcome through music.
Music is like a safe haven for me. It's home. When I have my instrument, when I can sit down and sing and write, I'm complete. And of course, life happens, things happen. Again, I put it down to pen and paper and I sing it. And I sing it and I sing it until I can't sing it no more. And that's just it. Nothing else. So I am so lucky I can do that through song. I am so lucky. And my prayer is that if ever there is anyone who listens to my music and feels what I feel or felt when I was writing and singing, and they could find some healing through that, because I think that is my purpose, that is my destiny, to not just go through things and get healed by myself, but to go through those things so that I help the next person through the music.
Carmen,
I think that answers your question.
Yes, very much. I'm going to show some images very quickly because we already reached the 30 minutes of our conversation so quickly, and so exciting.
So exciting.
And we're talking about power of the images and the energy. You transmit that very well. And you know, the colors and your person itself, you know, let's talk about the beauty of nature. Zimbabwe is a country, you know, I lived there for 4.5 years. My youngest daughter was born in Harare, and we can never forget the beauty of that country and its people, you know, and it's something that gets printed into yourself. What can you tell us about that energy?
Nature, yeah, as you have said, Zimbabwe is beautiful. And the nature, and me finding myself in nature, and, you know, all those poses that you see, they bring fire to my, you know, a good fire, good lights. Some of them, you know, they are like the first one that you showed, like a raw lioness, you know, the impact that, you know, we fight, but we're victorious, we win. You know, there are things that we do, but when we roar at them, like a lion dies, it all goes. And, you know, you need to know your place, hold on to your place, have your place, and just stand and move on. So that when I see that, and in nature, you know, nature is calm, it's still, it's untamed, it brings peace. It's a very peaceful, and it's a very good place to reflect.
Yeah, and this is when we go to this image. This is when the piece is translated into other traditions like yoga, you know, combined with traditional African instruments. Okay, here you are also celebrating Mental Health Week, you know, it's great, you know, what you're doing with your instrument, supporting different communities. Here, again, the power, this is very in the belly and very sociosa.
That's very true. It's here I was in a hut in Matobos in Bulawayo. I was in a hut and getting ready to shoot my music video for the song Zwile. Zwile means I heard my dad is coming. Wonderful. Yeah, there's nothing. It's nature. Nature is beautiful. And, you know, it shows where I am from, who I am. I just love to do stuff and where people see, you know, that's me. That's where I'm from, and I'm very proud.
Yes, and you project that. Here you go. This is what I love about your images, Carmen, that they're always in the nature, in natural, you know, even if you're wearing beautiful garments and jewelry, the nature, it overpowers that. Yeah.
Nature is just beautiful. Yeah, it just brings serenity, it just brings realness. It just brings you, it gives you calm, you know, entity, and all of this.
This is another beautiful moment when you are with your choir at school, you know, and it also brings the message. Here you are with Faye in recording with studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you see, even if the composition of the photo is beautiful, nature plays a very powerful role over there.
Totally agree. Totally.
Very beautiful. Okay, let's talk about Music Under the Stars.
So Music Under the Stars was in Malawi at Bishop Mackenzie International School, at the school I'm currently working. I'm sure you know Blessing Chimanga, Chimanga, he plays marimba. So he had come over also for Muti Arts during that week, well, a little bit after, but they had a project going on. And so we decided, let's just share some of our music from home with the students and parents from the school. So that was the first, music gathering in the school after COVID, well, during COVID or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, so he came, he was on his marimba, I was playing bira, and we sang together and we had loads of fun. And on the other side, that's the Salama dance group. They are refugees from the DRC. They dance so they have such beautiful stories that they tell through their dance. There's Lazarus and Esau, they're from Malawi, and Lazarus has toured. He's an albino and he pushes that. And he has toured a lot of countries, and he's just amazing. And all this diversity just shows the power of music, regardless of who you are, where you come from, what you look like, your ability or disability or impairment or whatever, and we just came together and we did this. It was lovely.
Carmen, we really closed it with a very high note, because you just mentioned the most important thing of this conversation, that is unity in diversity. And the power of arts, music, nature to heal the world. At the moment that we really become connected with those elements and we understand the power, everything else is there. It's important, money, comfort, but without the understanding of your soul, and the importance of the people around you, there is nothing. So thank you. Thank you so much for promoting unity and diversity through your life, your way of thinking, your music, your beautiful voice, Carmen. God bless you. Have a wonderful end of the year celebrations. And before you go, I will be very happy if you can send a message to the youth, to the new generations.
Yes, it was lovely chatting with you and seeing you. Happy holidays to you. Keep shining, keep singing. I enjoy seeing you singing and dancing. It's so beautiful. Please keep on keeping on. And I hope our paths meet at some point.
Yes, the same, Carmen. Blessings, musical kisses, and a big hug from Bangkok. Okay, take care.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.